Project is a
Well, that totally sucks. No idea what happened. Grr, are we here? Anybody showing up? All right, we're doing her again. Anybody here? Hello, hello. I'm back, Sage Paw. I'm back. We'll hang out here and see if anyone's going to come back. Yeah, of course he is. Happens if my stream stops in Ecamm. We're just going to hang out here until somebody shows up again. Maybe someone will show up. Sage Paw's here. Not saying you're not anyone, Sage Paw. Grr. No, it didn't. Where are we at? Yeah. I think something went down with YouTube. Something's still troublesome with YouTube for me. Grr, grr, grr. Yeah, not friggin' helpful. Not friggin' helpful. Everything's complicated, Sage Paw. It's not the. It's postmodernism. It's not the 90s anymore. Back in everything worked back in 2000. Doesn't work anymore. All right, we'll hang out just a little while longer until everybody gets here. Dude, I really want to resize this and it fucking won't let me. Pardon me. Get a little frustrated. I have no idea why that happened. You're a good man, Epi. You are a good man. Yeah. You are. Right? All right, so I guess I'll prep part 2 of the project. Do 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 do. All right, looks like we got some people back. Welcome back. Sorry about that. YouTube doesn't like me. YouTube does not like me bagging on behaviorists. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. Not acceptable behavior at all. All right. So we went through the Matthew's right? Yeah, totally. It is though. The bang, right? That is the concept, and we blast right past that in our pursuit of the behavior, right? Rest assured, the dogs don't. You know what I mean? If you've ever had a dog that squats and doesn't quite sit, you know what I'm talking about, right? It isn't until we have some issue that we recognize that the actual feeling of that thing, the essence of that piece of the behavior is missing, right? So we went through Matthew's presentation there. So funny. Now I'm over here, and I got the opposite problem. Oh, gosh. All right. So I just moved all of my Ecamm windows, all my stream windows over onto the other monitor, and then I was trying to work over there. So cooperative concrescence. Okay, so we're doing this with 2 critters, between 2 critters, and then we have a third piece of the puzzle, which is the team. Each subject, the dog is a subject, the handler is a subject, the team is a subject, right? And the dog and the handler need to meet. Right now, the handler is treating everything as if it exists in the complicated domain, right? As if it's on the right side of that Cynefin map, right? As if it's over here in reality. And the dog is over here jamming in the complex domain, whipping up abstract realities on every moment, paying attention to his ass hitting the ground, to his nose actually touching the thing, feeling his nose touch the thing, right? Experiencing the pressure, right? Experiencing the pressure. I know, that you're feeling the pressure, that you are feeling the pressure, I know. Right? And we're treating it as if it's all over here in our brains, in our concrescence. We have the cue and the trigger. The cue is prehension. Okay, that's that moment that sets up the situation, sets up the actualized experience. And then we have the trigger, which is the decision. And if you only have a cue, the dog is deciding when to trigger. Okay? So there is a trigger, you just don't know what it is. And that's fine until you get at those super duper high levels of obedience or super high levels of protection sports or something like that. Or you're doing something like what we do, which is, the dog is flying off of me, right? Yeah, a breakdown in communication is going to happen when we don't meet the dog where the dog is at. And we keep trying to meet the dog over here in reality. But the dog knows that his ass hitting the ground and his position and distance and duration is what the sit is. We think it's a sit, right? We need to meet the dog where the dog is. So, our perished objects, our previous repetitions, the baggage we bring to the table. We have earlier reps. We have the emotions and feelings from those reps, right? Poison cues, things like that. Confusion would be an emotion and feeling that would come from previous reps. Our successes, our failures, we bring all that to the table. That's what we bring. I give the cue, the dog goes through all that shit. Okay, yep, did that. We got 1,000,000 reps of that, blah, blah, blah. I love them all. We're successful all the time. All right, let me look at what's happening. And now the dog, after the prehension stage, after we give the cue, the dog then starts to try to assemble an abstract reality. So Epi's behind me, right? I say touch. Epi tilts his head. I give my hand here. Come on, you can do it. Are you close? Yes, good man, right? Did you see him tilt his head? He tilted his head because he was trying to construct the reality. We don't do sit, or we don't do touch here. You know what I mean? And so I'm very purposefully creating a gap here. That aporia gap, Maggie, is specifically to allow the dog time to run through the behavioral concepts, the facts, the things, the behaviors, behavior chains, and the processes, the forms, and how we do things in general, before I give him the trigger, right? And so the dog is taking the cue. Ew, I don't like that one, right? Or, yeah, I love that one. And then I'm waiting. And during that time, the dog reads the situation, constructs an abstract reality to achieve the cue. And then I give the trigger, boom, and we actualize reality. So the funnel here, we have the physical pole, we have the mental pole. The physical pole is all of these perished objects, our past, goes right there. That's the knee-jerk reflexive action. Touch, boom, right? He's on that. Touch, boom, right? He can totally do that. He can do it super quick. Touch, boom, right? He's super fast. But if I do, it happens when the reality has been actualized and an honest effort was made. Doesn't matter if we do it or not. Doesn't matter if we're successful. Dog knows that. You don't. We don't. Oh, we didn't get it. Right? Dog did amazing. And you're like, oh, kicking dirt and shit. You know what I mean? And the dog kicked ass and was like, yeah, that was a good try. Let's do it again. And you're like, oh, shit, you know, crying because you didn't do the thing. Right? When we go through this process, we take the cue, we construct an abstract reality, we trigger it and give it a shot, right? That's sweet. We have satisfied. We come out the other end better. We know what didn't work, or we did the thing, right? Satisfaction perishes immediately. So the moment it happens, that's gone. Now we're on to next, right? This idea that the cookie, the cookie is only there when we do this and make them do it. Or we do this and they try and do this and we say, shut up, kid, do the fucking thing. And we make them do it. And now they don't know how to do the thing. They don't know how to do this. And we keep making them do it. Well, of course they're going to need a cookie. Wouldn't you? Right? Wouldn't you? So the cookie is next. Within the process philosophy of Alfred Whitehead, the satisfaction perishes immediately and we go right back here for the next rep. And we just keep doing that over and over again. And when we don't abstract, and when we don't input these new eternal objects, we just get the same output, right? And that's what behaviorists want. They want that same output, crack, crack, crack. Give it to me. Let me put it in a spreadsheet, right? What dogs What dogs and playful handlers want is success, yes, but we also want that unexpected thing. We want that thing that's lively and fun, right? Don't just want the behavior. I want the behavior, and then I want it to do something cool, right? And we can't do that unless we activate the mental pole, unless we allow the dog to create abstract reality, and unless we deliver concepts, facts, things, and processes to the dog through our training. All right, I have one more slide here. The cue, prehension, creates the idea. Cooperative aporia allows time for the dog to create an abstract reality, pulling from a behavioral repertoire on the Cynefin framework from the clear domain. And then the trigger actualizes reality. The marker concretizes reality. The marker makes it concrete. Yes. Oh, it is the nose touching. Got it. Got it. Yes, it is the nose touching. Wow, okay. Right? Ass hits the ground. Yes, it is the ass hitting the ground. Dog's ass isn't hitting the ground fast enough, mark the squat. Boom, he'll drop the ass, right? There's a bunch of things that we can do with marking that facilitate the concretization of concepts. And handlers so want the whole behavior, right? They don't take any of the other pieces. They won't mark until the dog gets back at them. I do a recall. What's the hardest part of the recall? Hardest part of the recall is releasing the environment. And it's a criteria that not many handlers have marked. Right? Dog's running back to me and drops his head and hauls ass. I'm marking yes right there. Faster. That's a good concept. Get that a few times and now you've got a bullet train retrieve. Right? Nope. I'm not marking until my dog gets right here and sits. Right? Or I'm not marking until he's looking at me after the sit. Right? There's a bunch of stuff that we do with markers when I work the dogs on the ball and stuff. It's not just getting on the ball, right? Reorienting from the environment is marked. Locking into the ball, like committing to the ball, is marked. Collecting for the leap is marked. Committing to the jump is marked. Front feet on the ball is marked. Rear feet on the ball is marked. Targeting the object is marked. Getting off the ball is marked. All of those things become my dog's behavioral concepts. They assemble into small facts like jump on the ball, right? Or top might be, I think top is probably a fact, right? They consolidate, compound into top. Top is which object, which obstacle, collect, jump off the ground, collect, target the obstacle, jump off the ground, hit the object, push off, target the object. 7 pieces, 7-piece compound thing in top, right? Yeah, so the marker, the marker, when you're working, let's say concrescence, right? When you're working next as the cookie, right? The cookie is is the anchor. You were talking about the head placement. The cookie is essentially, the discrete cookie is placing the head, right? The food cookie. I could get away with almost no cookies at all, discrete food cookies, if I didn't need to move the dog's head, right? I could use toys or whatever. But the marking is, I'm going to do the affirmation thing again. So Epi, keep it rolling. Good. And Cupcake, I'm going to work King because you've been doing a lot. Can you go in there? In and in. In and in. Good work. So when Epi, up. Dude. Come on. Up. Chill. So the accidental. So I'll leave the pressure on. And I'll release the pressure. And now I'm like the meanest trainer in the world because I just did negative reinforcement on my dog. Like a fucking ear pinch. Did you see it? It was horrifying. Right? So affirmation. What happens a lot of times is that the handlers unintentionally affirm the dog. Dude, come on. That's not it. Come on. Thank you. The handlers accidentally affirm the dog. So when I call King here, King, yes. Right? So I called King, right? I'm going to throw a couple cookies and I'm going to establish the targeting behavior. Yes. Got eye contact, I toss a cookie. Touch, yes. And I call him in for the touch. Epi, zip, zip. Touch, boom. One more and he'll be on. Touch, the touch, right? Touch, yes. Cupcake, that'll do. So that, go do dog stuff. So you saw that he was running towards me, right? Excuse me, Epi. Thank you. Not a fan of him getting off the ball, like he wants to be up by the chair again. So on those last couple reps, I gave the cue and the trigger after he was running towards me. And this happens a lot. So when I'm working King off, yes. If I allow him, like let's say I'm trying to get him up on here, and he starts to go, and I tell him up, and then I give him a cookie, right? Off, up. Do you see he was already leaving there? Off. He's already going to be going there. Up, right? And I'm thinking, wow, I'm getting cookies on this thing. I'm not. I'm affirming his choice off to jump up there. Up, right? By taking advantage of it off or not paying attention, what I'm cueing, what my cue is affirmation that he's doing the right thing. So on those hand targets, touch, yes, I'll get it going again. As we build a pattern, as we get our reps going, touch, yes. Each of these. Touch, yes. He's driving in, I'm cueing, I'm affirming. See? Yes, he knew. He made that happen with his running in, right? Go do dog stuff. So if that happens unintentionally, right? If that happens unintentionally, and it does all the time, especially if I'm really balls out wanting the behavior, I'm driving the behavior, I'm cranking out the reps, right? If I unintentionally push that, what happens is I affirm the dog's choice to do the thing. And then I become something that affirms the dog. You're doing it right, buddy, here. And the hand target becomes not a target behavior, but a predictor of a cookie. And then when it doesn't work, they're pissed. they're shot. Or when I'm out of, quote unquote, out of position because the dog isn't running at me, right? If the dog isn't running at me and I cue it, I'm wrong. I'm not affirming him. I did this with April's dog Motown, dude. And every time I cued him, he came up and hugged my arm, right? A behavior he's been reinforced for a bunch. Also a buyout behavior that says, I don't want to do this, or I don't know what you're talking about, right? And then once I got the target working, anytime I marked it after he started, he pounded the target, right? And what happens there is that's affirmation. I'm affirming the dog's action. I'm telling them that they're right, you know? And when that happens, that's a black hole. I have to go get better cookies, right? I have to go get better cookies then. Or I have to make it happen somehow, right? So this time, king, king, yes. Dude, come on, Epi, up. So this time I'm going to make sure that I pull him off. Touch, yes. So I'm gonna cue before touch. Yes, good man. Touch before he's ready. Yes, good man. Touch. Yes, good man. And that one that I called him on, go do dog stuff, that last one, he was trolling for another cookie. He knew he missed one. But I cued and he was like, oh shit, I'm gonna miss it. And then he came in. So that mistake right there can be like real trouble. And when that happens, then your dog can't handle a missed mark. And the other one that's super rough, dude. So you can see the, hang on. There it is. You guys can see the exact dimple, right? That shiny dimple in the center. I touch it. Yes, cookie. Yes, cookie. No mark. But I touched it exactly. Yes, cookie. Yes, cookie. No mark, but I touched it exactly, right? Think about what that does to my abstract knowledge as a learner. I did exactly the same thing. What am I to take away from that? Right? What am I to take